Welcome to The Breakdown with INFB. I'm your host, Heidi Gant. As summer winds down and those of us involved in agriculture are taking some deep breaths of relaxation before harvest begins, we wanted to recap some of the great things Indiana Farm Bureau was involved in during the Indiana State Fair. So today we're talking to AFiesbeck-Romine, our Youth Engagement Coordinator. Annie is also going to share with us more about our work with youth and those members that are at the collegiate level of Farm Bureau activities and how more young people can get involved. So welcome, Annie.
Thank you, Heidi, for having me.
Sure. Okay, so let's just start out with a little bit about you. What's your connection to agriculture? Does your family farm?
Sure. So my dad is a row crop farmer. I grew up in Bartholomew County. I also then married a farmer in Bartholomew County as well who raises corn, soybeans, and wheat. And then he also has a drainage tile business. So yes, I grew up with pretty strong ag roots. I was also involved in 4-H and I was a 10-year member there, showed swine, and then also took just the building projects as well.
Okay, so obviously you've done all these things that you are working with students on, so you have a really good connection there. So, but you also came from education, right?
You're right. Yes, I earned my degree in education. However, a typical classroom setting with four walls always did make me feel like a caged bird. So I knew I didn't want traditional education. I did work for my local school corporation within the C4, which was the CTE program in Bartholomew Consolidated School Corporation. And I was more tour and events than I was a classroom teacher. However, I also oversaw our student leadership program and student ambassadors. So my heart is certainly helping other people find their passion, and it's awesome to work in an organization where I'm still getting to do that with a specific focus on agriculture.
Yeah, so two loves of yours, it sounds like. Okay, so let's kind of go back to what I originally did in our intro. We're talking about the State Fair.
Yes.
So we just got done with a very busy time at State Fair. I'm sure you are also taking some deep breaths.
Yes.
I don't think we talk enough about our involvement in State Fair, Indiana Farm Bureau. Obviously, the Fall Creek Pavilion has our name on it,
right,
but there's a lot of other things that we do. So tell us about all of that.
Absolutely. So we are the presenting sponsor of the Supreme Drive as well as Supreme Showmanship, and then we also have an exhibitor experience. And I'm going to be honest, when I first came on staff, I kept seeing these exhibitor experience signs around the fairgrounds, and actually I'd seen them prior to coming on staff, but when I came on staff, I asked my boss, Chelsea, what does that mean? What do we do? What's the experience? And at that point, it really was the 4-H livestock exhibitors are having an experience by being up here, being in the show ring. Mm-hmm. But I wanted something more. Mm-hmm. So again, Farm Bureau has been so open to how can we elevate our youth program, because these 4-Hers, these FFA students that I have an opportunity to work with, they will be that next voice in agriculture, and we would love to have them recognize Farm Bureau as the leader in the ag industry. So it's been awesome. So exhibitor experience wise, this year we had a fun zone in our Fall Creek Pavilion, that upper level VIP area, and we sat out a lot of games and some fun chairs. But then also we did a hat bar where individuals could come and pick like 3 patches and a hat, and then we would press that for them. Mm-hmm. And it draws a lot of attention. It's a lot of fun, and it's these youth get to have some creativity in their patches, and it's an experience that I hope they'll just remember that Farm Bureau allowed them to have that fun experience. It was a huge hit, but then again, just the games we set up every day that first weekend.
Because people are there for long hours every day, so that's a great idea.
It was a great idea, because sometimes there's a gap between classes that could be a couple hours. And again, we just provided that almost reprieve of like rest and fun, but within a safe space, right? We also want to make sure that all livestock exhibitors recognize that we are there for them. Sometimes being housed in the swine barn and our name being on swine barn makes people feel like maybe there's some favoritism there, but that's not at all the case. So this year we also were present after the sheep exhibitors had a meeting on Wednesday. We took our hat barn down there to the sheep ring and sat up in there, as well as took a few of our games. And then we also were able to hit dairy, and those youth were so appreciative that we traveled, a few barns away for them and shared that experience with them as well. So of course, next year, we'll look for more ways to expand. And then another, I think, great addition that we did this year was just amping up the recognition of the supreme showmanship. In most of the livestock competitions out there, a judge is looking at an animal. And yes, the 4-Hers do a lot of work to get that animal prepared. But it's also great to recognize the showmanship skills that these 4-Hers have developed from being involved in 4-H. So showmanship, supreme showmanship especially, has always also been kind of a passion of mine because it's totally up to the youth and how they're presenting themselves. So we created banners this year that we had in 4 of the different barns around the fair that said, "Who will be the greatest showman?" And they had little openings for photos to go in with question marks. And as the showmanship competitions within the different breeds completed, we would get a photo of the winner and put that on that board. And it was just it was fun for us to update that as the fair went on. And I believe it was fun for the 4-Hers to see too, like, oh, who's been added now? And then last night, it was awesome to award those completed banners to the champion and reserve of supreme showmanship.
That's awesome. So fun.
It was.
So let's stick with talking about youth.
Sure.
Let's talk about some of the other ways that we support people in still not quite collegiate level yet, but younger. I know we have a lot of scholarships. And can you talk about some of the things that we do in that area?
Sure. We are trying to be more present within especially FFA and 4-H. We know that these students are already demonstrating an interest in agriculture and in leadership. So we are just continuing to look for ways that we can be involved. FFA has a state convention, as well as us, Indianapolis being incredibly blessed to host national convention. Right. So that's very easy for us to have a presence there. So the whole hat bar that I mentioned that we redid at State Fair, we actually had done at State FFA convention. My intern and I did 8 hours worth of hat pressing at FFA State Convention. We also, we have an awesome marketing team here within Indiana Farm Bureau, and Maddie made some lovely FFA Today future farmers and ag professionals, young farmers and ag professionals tomorrow. So my hope is that being present at events, whether it be 4-H or FFA, whether it be 4-H Roundup, which actually we haven't been at yet, but I'm hoping for this next year, and other camps that 4-H and FFA put on throughout the year or throughout the summer, the more they become familiar with us, the more they will recognize we are that next step for them. So I'm incredibly open. I had a good conversation with Dr. Casey Moles at the State Fair of what else can we do? Let's just continue to elevate. When I first came on staff, I said, I feel like I'm the youth funds distributor. My title is youth engagement coordinator, and I'm happy that Farm Bureau is able to financially offer these scholarships. But I want the youth to see the faces behind those dollars, and for them to recognize that Indiana Farm Bureau is that next step for them as they enter adulthood.
More than just money.
Absolutely. And I believe we're making progress in that realm.
I would agree with you. So let's talk about that next step then.
Sure.
Collegiate level Farm Bureau. If we have some collegiate members, some college students listening right now, how do they get involved? What do they do at the collegiate level?
So currently we have 3 collegiate chapters at Vincennes, Huntington, and Purdue University. Those collegiate chapters typically meet once a month, maybe a couple supplemental meetings as well. And we focus on what our county farm bureaus would also probably be focusing on. We'll have a meeting that's focused on policy and bring in some of our policy team from here. We may also do local government. So even though these students may not live in Tippecanoe County or Knox County or Huntington County, it's important for them to understand that Indiana Farm Bureau is a grassroots organization. So for them to be able to experience a county farm bureau as well as the collegiate almost at the same time is really a blessing for them to really understand all that Farm Bureau has to offer. We have fun too, maybe we'll do pumpkin painting, as we lead to fall, but then we also are wanting to get involved more in the community also, so that everyone starts to recognize Indiana Farm Bureau, because we all know that everyone interacts with agriculture every day.
Yep. So if you're at a university that doesn't have a collegiate farm bureau, is there a way to do that? Or are we just kind of set at those three? Or
So right now we are set at the 3.
Okay.
I'm open to possibly expanding. Right now it's the 3 who have ag programs
Sure.
within their university. Although Ivy Tech does a great job as well as offering ag classes, but they're community schools with a lot of commuters.
Right.
So it makes it hard to have a physical meeting, and there is something about coming together in person for that sense of community that I think is kind of at the heart of Farm Bureau as well. But could we do something virtually with maybe the Ivy Tech community? I'm definitely open to exploring that option.
okay.
And then also just if they're college age, they are young farmer and ag professional age, because that
That's right.
opens at 18. So I would encourage anyone, and I'm happy to help connect anyone to their county farm bureau young farmer representative within their county.
Awesome.
I think every county is open to young people getting more involved and open
Yeah.
to growth. So again, I'm happy to be a resource to make connections.
Love that. And also, I think at the collegiate level, another event that is a tried and true historic event that we have every year, Discussion Meet. Can you talk about
Yes.
that?
Yes, so American Farm Bureau releases, I believe it's 6 questions every year, kind of again at the root of what American Farm Bureau and our state Farm Bureau and issues that we all face. They're out now. So participants, competitors can actually start preparing for them now. The best way to prepare for those is find experts within the area and to talk to people from all over the state, because issues that people are having in northern Indiana may not be the same
right.
pressing issues that our southern farmers are dealing with. So and so each university will have their own kind of home competition, and then the top 2 winners from those 3 universities will come up to home office. We'll have a state collegiate contest up here where there are scholarship dollars at stake, as well as other gifts and prizes. One of them being a trip to Fusion or the Young Farmer Conference. Those alternate every other year, but that's a free trip, and this next year we'll be going to Portland, Oregon.
Oh, fun. Very fun.
Yes.
And then the last kind of programming note I made a note to ask you about are the ag literacy grants. So
Yes.
this will air in early September.
Okay.
So I know that deadline is September 15th, but can you
Correct.
talk a little bit about what those are?
Sure. The Ag Literacy Challenge Grant is open to 4-H clubs or FFA chapters who desire to put on an ag literacy event within their community, or maybe they want to attend some type of ag-related workshop to expand their ag literacy within their club or chapter. It could also be a networking type of event. So for any clubs or chapters who are looking for ways to expand the knowledge of agriculture within their community, a lot of times chapters or clubs that apply, there may already be an ag day that they are a part of, but how could these dollars help enhance that? What could be something extra that because of these dollars they're able to provide? Could it be that every classroom teacher that attends this goes home with an Ag in the Classroom book, or maybe even every student? I jokingly say, does your hometown have a Chick-fil-A because they offer story times and family nights, or is that something maybe a hometown local restaurant would be interested in hosting? So I would love for people to think out of the box, maybe think of innovative ways to start sharing ag literacy within our state. But that's what the Ag Literacy Challenge is all about. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm sure you'll have my contact information attached to this podcast. So would love to be flooded with applications this year and us just pick the best of the best innovative ideas for ag literacy in Indiana.
Good. Love that. Okay. So wrapping up, what did we not talk about today that you want people to know about how we work with our youth and collegiate level Farm Bureau members? And also, obviously, yes, I will include your contact information, but is there somewhere else that people can go to for more information about what we do?
As far as what maybe we didn't talk about that I want people to know, we're almost coming up to budgeting, and I do have some new ideas that I will be maybe presenting. So I think I just want to say stay tuned. I think there are some exciting things coming regarding youth engagement within our state, so stay tuned. And then as far as more information, please go to our website, infb.org, click on our programs, and you will find more information about our programming.
Okay, but really just contact you.
Contact
if
me.
there's something that people want to get involved in, you can kind of lead them in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I do actually want you to contact me because in my role, like we talked about discussion meet, I need judges, right? And I need Farm Bureau people who understand Farm Bureau. So some of our members, if you live in a vicinity of one of those universities that I mentioned, I'd love to be in contact with you to put you to work.
Yeah. Okay. You heard it here from Annie.
Yeah.
We need judges. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Annie.
Thanks
I appreciate
for having
it.
me.
This is great.
Yeah.
I think we should probably highlight more of what you do, so this won't be the last one.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. If you enjoyed our conversation today, make sure to subscribe to The Breakdown with INFB and even rate and review us to let us know how we're doing. For more information, visit www.infb.org/podcast.
Talking about, but
Okay.
and then I know like collegiate, some type of mentorship.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, we'll see. Either that or an outstanding youth competition.
Oh.
So other states do outstanding youth. I don't really feel like I've seen a good example of a mentorship, but it was something that Chelsea and I talked about like when I interviewed.
Oh.
So that's why I'm hoping. And I just feel like any event that I've been to when people have an